All right, folks, welcome in. This is Downtown Lakers. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Ethan Shirazi, and this is our first episode of Downtown Lakers, where we pretty much every week talk everything about the Lakers, really give our thoughts on what's going on. I've had the interest of wanting to do this for a while, so to get to know me, if you don't know me with my Rams coverage or anything like that, I'm Jake Ellenbogen. I'm a content creator, and Ethan is making his content creating debut on this show. I reached out to him, thought it would be kind of cool to start a show, and here we are. Ethan, welcome in. I know you're making your debut, but I'm hyped for you.
Yeah, man. I'm glad we were able to make this happen, and excited to be here, bro. First ever podcast. So yes, sir, bro.
So before we get into it, let's I know people already probably know a little bit about me, but for people that don't know you, give them a little bit about you. What's your background?
All right, so obviously, as you guys know, my name is Ethan Shirazi. I'm a super diehard Laker fan. If you guys follow me on my social medias, you guys see I go to multiple games, create content, just have a passion with all these things, and looking forward to making a career out of this. So that's the plan.
Hey, I love it, man. So we're really excited to be here. Obviously, you guys are watching us, whether it's YouTube or on our Twitters and what have you. But we're going to just dive into it because, Ethan, that game last night, I think really, if you're looking for what the Lakers are in a nutshell, for somebody that hasn't watched any of their games this year, you could literally just show them last night, and that just wraps up what the Lakers are in a nutshell. So let's talk about it. They start off this game, they get off 23-point lead, absolutely dominating. And then, as we've seen with some of these games, they just have not been able to really finish. They got the job done. A win is a win. They're sitting there at 36-21, fourth in the West. But at the same time, there's a little concerning, right? Because they're not finishing games. So let's take it from the top. I mean, how would you say this game started off? I mean, what did you like, dislike, and how concerning was this finish?
So, like you said, we were up, a lot, like 23 points or whatever it was. But I say we have a lack in consistency of just finishing games, and we always blew big leads like we did last night. It was a little of a scare. We pretty much had like the lead down to 3 points in like the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. And then Rui is like the big factor in that one. Once he was out from that left knee strain, I went downhill. But no excuse. We just gotta finish that, and just get the win, bro. That's all it is. You can't put your foot off the gas pedal. So
yeah, it's tough, right? Because I think on one hand, you feel good about the win. On the other, you're kind of like, I didn't love the way they kind of fell off there. And you got to give the Timberwolves credit. I mean, of course, Anthony Edwards leaves the game. He got kicked out again, his 16th. So he'll actually be suspended for the next game with a technical foul. Terrence Shannon Jr. made his presence known. I mean, he had 25 points in this one. Nickeil Alexander-Walker just felt like he was everywhere. They were saying his name a lot. Naz Reid got hit in the face with the basketball. But aside from that, I think when you look over at the Lakers side, I mean, LeBron James really kind of took this thing over after what looked at the beginning to be like a Luka game. It looked like a game where he was going to have another triple-double easily, and he gets off to a great start, but he missed 10 shots in a row. Then he goes and he hits that Jokic shot. And I think what you see with this team is that they have scorers, but when Rui went down, that was concerning. And we're going to get more into that, and that is a little bit of a concern of mine. It's a big concern of mine because I think Rui's a glue guy. But, take me through this game. I mean, what were your thoughts? Who were some guys that stood out, guys that didn't stood out in a good way, bad way? How'd you look at this thing?
All right. So as you guys know, LeBron, he had 33 points, 17 rebounds. So he's the X factor in this game. If it didn't go off, then it probably would have been lost. Luka didn't have his greatest game, missed a ton of threes. But like I said, that circus shot was like, he's probably his only three, I believe, right? Yeah, he's only three. But if everyone can play the way that we played in Denver, it can it can lead us a long way down the playoffs and throughout the whole entire regular season, at least top four seed. But tonight we have a tough task against the Clippers. And then the funny thing is that everyone that's injured comes against the Lakers. For example, Norman Powell's been out for 4 days. 4 games, and all of a sudden he's gonna come back to the Lakers. So questionable for Hachimura to come back. Lucas last night, he'd be questionable to play tonight. So it'd be a tough task. So we just got to pray for all these guys to come back and he can be healthy.
Yeah, I think the thing that was really concerning about Rui is that he also, and I noticed you noticed it, I noticed it as well. The game against, I believe, was Dallas. Rui got shaken up in that one as well, holding his side, and you
Right.
worry about these injuries piling up. And I think on that same play where he goes and immediately goes to the locker room, Austin Reeves runs into, I believe it was Anthony Edwards at the time. And so you look at that and you're like, oh my God, did they just lose 2 of their key players right then and there? So that's the thing, is that I think that there are some things here where, the Lakers have to stay healthy. Other guys have to step up. I think DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, has been huge. I was adamantly against that trade. Did not like it. Didn't think they got enough for Russell. But at the same time, DFS has really proved me wrong. And I think the thing is, when you look at guys like Dorian Finney-Smith, or you look at a guy like Jared Vanderbilt, or hell, even, Gabe Vincent, these are guys that don't fill the stat sheet, but they fill a role. And I think now, when you look at the way the bench is playing, I think it's a big deal. Dalton Knecht right now, I think a lot of people are really upset with, because he just isn't looking like he did prior. But I think it's important to realize that that role isn't the same. He's not being asked to do the same thing. And he clearly doesn't look comfortable after the trade. That might take some time. But right now, man, that Rui deal, that's a real thing that I'm very much concerned about, because if that lingers, who is going to take on that role? We saw it last night, right? You see it immediately. Finney-Smith can come in, be a defensive presence. He can, force some turnovers and what have you. And then you have Jared Vanderbilt, who could do the same thing. But those guys scored a combined 8 points in 44 total minutes. When you have Rui out, what happens is then LeBron has to take over. And
absolutely.
You don't really want him taking over. You want him to be managed and ready to go for the playoffs, but you have to win these games. So I guess really, I think just kind of looking at Ethan, I think Rui's a really big concern. His health is everything.
See, look, I feel like he had like a history of like injuries on his knee, especially. I remember last time he's been out for like a week or so. So if that lingers, like I said, it can be a problem. But if he's out for a little bit, I feel like DFS can kind of fill in that role in the starting lineup to kind of replace him on the starting forward. But in terms of defense, offense, he's massive.
No, definitely.
But man, it's kind of a little worrying.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. I mean, we see it all the time. Best ability is availability, and Rui's been available, but he does have some injury issues in his past that I think are definitely a cause for concern. I think with LeBron James, you have a 40-year-old playing 37 minutes in a regular season game, a game that you were up by 23. It's not ideal. At least I don't think it's ideal. Jackson, what do you think about him right now? Because I mean, I thought that was a pretty good performance. I think he stepped up, and
he did.
I mean, what are your thoughts on him?
See, I think Jackson's not necessarily like a starting center caliber, but he's been actually playing the role pretty well as a starting center ever since the trade for Luka and giving up AD. It's slow. I think it's pretty good at center, just because he's had experience in the past playing center, and especially catching lobs from Luka and LeBron. Can get rebounds. And the thing I love about Jackson Hayes, bro, he gives it 100% each time he steps on the floor. He dives for balls, gets rebounds, hustles every time down the floor. So love what he does on the floor.
Yeah, and I think, you'll get pushback because he's not the big name or whatever, but I do think Jackson Hayes is enough. They have enough around him. But I think the concerning part, a lot of people say, are the lack of rebounds. Do you think that's really a concern? I mean, he had 7 in this one. You got Luka coming down with 13. LeBron with 17. Hell, Austin Reeves had 6. Is that a concern for you as you get into like the latter half of the year? I mean, you already are there, but you get into the playoffs and you're going up against these premier rebounders. Is that a big concern where a team could just dominate the offensive glass, or how do you think that works?
I mean, if other guys getting rebounds, like for example, last night LeBron had 17 rebounds. If everyone can get rebounds as a team, that shouldn't be a concern. But at the same time, you're playing like a Jokic, you're playing like a Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns in the playoffs or in the finals, or any sort of center like that, it could be a concern. But if the whole team can get rebounds and then do the job, that shouldn't be a concern, in my opinion.
No, I think that's definitely fair. I mean, these guys can get rebounds, so I guess it's not a major concern. I think Hayes fits a lot of what they're doing, what they want to do. Is that bench deep enough? I think is the question. I mean, looking at this game, they got 7 points out of Jordan Goodwin. They got 0 out of Connect. They got 4 out of Gabe Vincent, 5 out of Vanderbilt, and 3 out of Dorian Finney-Smith. Not a lot of bench points. Do you think that's a worry?
I mean, honestly, look, our starters are pretty much mainly the scorers, but our bench can like play defense, can like move the ball. Vanderbilt's a great defender, on ball defender, probably our best on ball defender. Jordan Goodwin was actually pretty good, solid pickup for us. Been playing pretty well lately. I mean, like you said, Dalton Connect has been shooting very well also, but ever since the trade, he kind of stepped down because like I guess his mindset kind of went like, oh shit, I just got traded, like you know, you know. But in terms of the playoffs, I would say a little bit too early, but I think we can make a big run if our guys can like score the ball every time down the floor, especially Luka.
Yeah, I just watching the way he plays. I know he missed 10 straight shots in this game, but you just see the way he's able to just kind of carve his way inside the paint. And, he does such a nice job of there's just kind of this fluidity and this tempo that he plays with where he's not like the rapid slasher type, he's not like Russell Westbrook in his
Yeah,
prime, but he does play a little bit like LeBron, I guess, without the explosion, because I don't think he really plays with the explosion LeBron has. But he does have kind of those short hop steps, puts himself in position, and then creates enough, to make a big time play. And I think just watching him, he fits so much better than I think the outside media would have had you believe. Because immediately when the trade was done, Anthony Davis was a Maverick and Luka was to the Lakers. All of the talk was that this team is going to compete down the road, but they're not a contender for the postseason, and they're not a contender to win it all. And I got to be honest with you, watching this game against the Timberwolves, I saw a little bit of both. I saw a team that is a championship contender, but I also see a team that's beatable. And they have to shore that up. I will say they look way more bought in on defense. I think JJ Redick has done a stellar job, but I do
yeah.
have, those concerns about letting these teams back in games where, you should be using your backups. I mean, at that point, like you should have Markieff Morris, Cam Reddish, Alex Len, Shake Milton all on the floor in a game where you're up by 20 plus. And that's just not what happened last night. So I do think they have to shore that up, but there's a lot to like about this Los Angeles Lakers team. I do think they're dangerous, and I do think they're a championship contender with some flaws. But what say you?
I mean, like you said, they are beatable, but if we play like we play in Denver, all ball on defense, everyone scores, especially Luka and LeBron, since the two guys running the show. Even Austin Reeves, he's a phenomenal player, man. But I think if you come down to the playoffs, you have to have a big man consistently in the lineup. I mean, I don't know why Alex Len is not even playing like a lot of the games, even though like he's a good center 7-footer. Um, but I think we're gonna make a big run, at least for Western Conference Finals.
I think they can too. And I mean, again, they have flaws. I guess, I saw somebody in the comment section, Adrian over there. Alex Len ain't good. It's not great. Where are you on Alex Len? Do you think, he's ever going to get an opportunity? Do you even want him to get an opportunity? Do you think they go a different route? They cut him, go out into the buyout market again? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to people. I thought Alex Len was a good pickup, good,
I thought so too.
Yeah, and he just doesn't look like much of a fit, but it's early.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the big man market wasn't as good as expected, and we expected to get Mark Williams, but the trade got rescinded because I guess he failed the physical. But I guess he was like the best available Alex Len I'm talking about. But if something comes up like a buyout or something like that with a good big man, I guess we can go after him. Like, for example, like at least like a 7'2" guy, so we can get boards consistently. Play alongside LeBron and Luka and Austin. But I do think he should be in the lineup consistently, like, at least in the rotation, because he's getting no minutes. Last time he played, I believe, was against the Jazz before the All-Star break. So he's definitely got to at least play some games.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of these guys that we didn't see last night, or we didn't see a lot of last night, because we know, Luka's a game time decision today. LeBron James, they have to monitor because that foot. And now, the whole Rui situation. I guess what's tough about this is that you have a team that still needs to win. This isn't a team that's 10 games above 500, or not above 500, but 10 games ahead, like, OKC. This is a team that, they are more than 10 games, about 15, but 15. This is a team that still is only the 4 seed, and they keep just going back and forth with the Rockets. It seems like every day. So now, you're playing the Clippers tonight. As we put a bow on this game, in particular against the Timberwolves, what are your final thoughts from the 111-102 win over the Minnesota Timberwolves at Crypto Arena?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, Lakers always give up big leads, and we did it again last night. And also free throws was a huge concern. I believe we missed 15 free throws last night, which honestly could have won us the game early in the fourth quarter. So hopefully tonight we can improve free throw shooting, because it's very important. Especially I think LeBron missed a ton of them. Actually, no, I remember who. Let's see.
Well, Luka missed 4.
Yeah, I see
LeBron
that.
missed 3. Jackson missed 2, and Reeves missed 1. Everyone else.
Yeah.
Oh, and Vanderbilt missed 2.
Missed 2, right? Connect. But yeah, as long as we hit our free throws, we can at least win by 10 plus points, especially if we're playing well and not blow a big lead like that.
Yeah, I think the game, again, it encapsulates what the Lakers are in 2025, the 2024 to 2025 season. Essentially, you got a bunch of really fun, exciting, runs. You also had scary runs. I mean, at one point, the Timberwolves turned this from a 23-point deficit down to, I believe they were down by 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
I mean, they really, cut this lead down. So it's tough. I mean, these are the type of teams that you're going to see. The Wolves have 32 wins. So you're going to have to play a team that's probably as good or better when it comes to the postseason. And so that's the thing that's a little concerning, especially the fact that Anthony Edwards only plays 26 minutes because he gets ejected from this game, and they're already playing, banged up. So it's like, I expected a little bit more out of that. But I think early on you can learn this team is scary, because when they get going, and I still don't believe Luka is comfortable yet on the level where, he's just going to cash a bunch of threes, and they don't have Connect right now, at least not mentally. He's not fully there. I just feel like, to me, this team is going to get better with time. They don't have plenty of time, right? But this isn't the first time this organization has decided to retool the roster mid-season. They did this when they went to the championship against the Nuggets that year. They turned that team around overnight, it seemed like. And, say what you will about Darvin Ham, but that was kind of hard to do. It's kind of a big deal. So now where are they, moving forward? We'll see. But moving on, this is a big game against the LA Clippers tonight. All indications are that, Rui Hachimura, he's likely not going to play.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play tonight.
Yeah, I don't see it. He's listed as a game time decision, as is Jared Vanderbilt, as is Luka Doncic. Where are you on this? Because, right now, the Clippers are also a 32-win team. They don't play well on the road. They're 13-6. The Lakers are dominant at home, 21-7. Do you think the Lakers get the job done tonight and continue on with this run?
I think it'll be tougher just because we're coming off a back-to-back. It was a gritty win last night. And then we're playing against a pretty good Clipper team. Even though they've been kind of tough on the road, we've always had a problem with them in the last few years. And like I said earlier, Norman Powell's come back tonight. Zubac has been a pretty good player against us. I hate that trade, by the way. We traded him away.
Awful.
Yeah. But yeah, I believe it's gonna be tough, especially if our guys will be out, especially Rui and maybe Luka. But I think LeBron plays tonight.
Yeah, I do think LeBron plays tonight. They have to keep winning, and I think that's the thing is that, if you're going to sit out Luka, then LeBron has to play. If you're going to sit out LeBron, then Luka has to play. I don't think they both can sit out. But then again, Austin Reeves can do his thing too. He can turn it on in a quick. But yeah, you mentioned Norm Powell coming back. Zubac always has good games against the Lakers. And again, we talked about earlier, not having that dominance on the glass and potentially not having Doncic or LeBron. Zubac should have his way, on the offensive glass. They're going to get second chance opportunities. What's going to happen there? I don't know. But they're going to get second chance opportunities, and we'll see how things go. I think ultimately, I think the Lakers pull this one out. I think it'll be a close game, by, maybe a possession or two. But I think that the Lakers will pull this one out. I think that this will be a Reeves game. This feels like a game that'll just be, all right, Austin, you do your thing. And he's done his thing. He's had some games where he's gone over 30 points, 40 points, in this stretch. So, it's a big deal, but they have to win this game. They have to continue to win. It's not going to be easy. Their stretch isn't easy. Playing all the easy teams, that time is up at this point. Now, you're looking at essentially going up against the Clippers back-to-back, although not on a back-to-back, but playing them also
today
on Sunday.
Right.
Then you have New Orleans, then you have New York, right? Then you have Boston, then you have Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Denver, Phoenix. So it's kind of a mixed bag, but there's going to be a lot more, the teams are going to get better. And so that's the thing. I think they need to be ready for that. For those of you who don't know, tonight's game is on ESPN, so everyone will be able to watch, which I love. Being in New York and having to, try and find a way to, watch Laker games. It's not always the easiest. I know some people are having issues. So it's on NBA TV last night, and some people couldn't even access NBA TV that had it, and they weren't getting the Laker game. And then, if you're in Minnesota and you're a Laker fan, I hate to break it to you, it's blacked out. So
unless you have game, what's it called, NBA League Pass, I recommend you should get that, man. If you're trying to watch all these games, especially.
I'm just saying in general, I don't have that issue. But yeah, it's yeah, it's one of those things like where I know there were people that are having issues watching the game. Tonight though, we'll be on ESPN, and the Clippers are desperate right now for some wins, and I think the Lakers need to keep up pace with what they're doing. I think they're doing a nice job. I think they look good. They have those concerns that we mentioned, but I also want to make this very clear. What team doesn't have concerns? There's no perfect team in this league. I don't care how good the Cavs are. I don't care how good the OKC Thunder look. There is not one team that is perfect. And that's the same with historic teams as well. Teams have weaknesses. Just you'd like to see the Lakers work on them a little bit more. The last few times that they've played and everything. When you look at the games, you win by 9 against the Timberwolves. You win by 8 against Dallas. You win by 23 against Denver. You win by 8 against Portland. You lose by 3 to Charlotte. You get blown out by Utah. You blow out Utah. You win by 7 against Indiana. You win by 8. You win by 8 against Golden State, and you absolutely eviscerated LA the last time you played them. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, look, this is the NBA. It doesn't matter who you play. It doesn't matter who's in, who's out. All these players are professionals, man. I mean, same goes for any sport. All these guys are professionals. They're good at what they do. I mean, look, we lost against 2 really bad teams, the Jazz and the Hornets, in back-to-back games, and we had a fully loaded lineup. So, like I said, not every team's perfect. This is the NBA, and then every team's looking to compete.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that game yesterday was kind of big because that did just tie up the series against Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't have the outright tiebreaker. Had they lost that game, Minnesota would have had the outright tiebreaker. I'm not saying they'll catch up to the Lakers, but it's good to have against them. Jemison, I'm seeing him in the comments section, and Goodwin. Do you think they play more tonight? Do you think Jemison gets an opportunity? I know they kind of have to figure things out. Koloko as well. What does that whole thing look like? Because Trey Jemison, the third, he's had some good moments for this team. And then Christian Koloko has looked pretty solid as well. You definitely see it when I was out there for the Lakers Nuggets game back in November. You can see the length on full display, and that's the type of guy that you want, like guarding, Jokic and guys like that. So I am curious to see how they go about that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think Jemison or Koloko gets any minutes tonight just because, we already have Jackson Hayes and we already have our small ball lineup that we've been trying out. The majority of the time, they usually get like trash time minutes at the end of the game for like getting blown out or we're blowing the other team out in the fourth quarter. But if we are having trouble getting the rebounds, then JJ will probably put in Jemison because he's been pretty good at rebounds. Like even for the last game we played, it was Pacers game when Austin scored 45 points. He played a lot of that game just because Jackson Hayes was out, I believe. And I don't think we get any minutes tonight.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I think, kind of looking at this team right now, looking at the Clippers, I definitely think Norman Powell, he's going to be really excited to be back. He's definitely one to look out for. James Harden, of course. I think it'll be interesting tonight. I mean, the last time the Clippers were, they beat Chicago. They haven't played in 2 days rather. And you really saw, I mean, James Harden, had 30 points and, shot really well, 7 of 14 from 3, and, Kawhi Leonard is playing, although we'll see if he plays tonight. Seems like he plays every other game.
Everyone's going to be playing tonight. Everyone.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, it's the running gag. What was it? How long did DiVincenzo go without playing? And then, of course, the Lakers game.
I don't know, but it seems like every time Lakers play someone and someone's out, he'll be in even if it was questionable. Like
it's
time.
Crazy.
Every Laker fan knows that.
the Laker effect. It's a joke. Like we all make fun of it, but everyone knows it. It's one of the worst kept secrets. Just want to let you guys know. I mean, you might not know this, Ethan. I can see it. We have over 700 people watching live. No pressure, Ethan.
Oh yeah, bro.
So we have over 700 people. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. It is Downtown Lakers. The reason being, we are going to be streaming on Twitter, but we're really trying to push people to YouTube. We're trying to get people to subscribe to that YouTube channel. So if you guys could do us a favor and do so, that is great. Be sure to also follow my guy Ethan over at Ethan Shirazi on Twitter. You can follow me at
24.
Bogan.
So it'll be Ethan Shirazi 24 on Twitter.
Good. Good.
Yeah,
you put the 24.
You're good. And follow me on Instagram at Ethan_Shirazi, and then follow my boy Jake Ellenbogen.
Jake Ellenbogen. No. So, by the way, we have 169 people subscribed to the channel. So, really appreciate you guys.
That's awesome.
And do you have any final thoughts, Ethan? I mean, we normally will probably go longer, but we don't really have tons to talk about because we're not doing this show right after Luka was traded.
Right.
I guess I want to throw one thing out there.
Go for it.
Mark Williams. Okay.
Yes.
Now that I have a platform to talk about this, because I was literally in pain not being able to have a platform to talk about this, I think this actually led to me wanting to do a Lakers channel. Not Luka. No. The Mark Williams thing. So I want to get your thoughts, but I'm definitely going to say my piece here. I think Mark Williams is a hell of a player. I think he instantly makes them the favorite in the West if he goes there. He is going to contribute a lot more than Dalton Connect is right now.
I agree.
So with all that said, why do people think the Lakers would have opted not to have him? Why do you think there are people out there that think the Lakers purposely did it because they had buyer's remorse? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, I can understand if you're like, oh yeah, they gave up a lot and then they're worried about the injury, which is what I believe happened. But there are people that outright believe the Lakers turned this down because they got buyer's remorse. And they literally were like, yeah, you know what? We're giving up too much. Do you think the Lakers care? Do the Lakers really care about draft picks? When do they pick next? 2031? Come on. They don't care about draft picks.
Look, all we care about is banners, championships. That's all we care about, bro. But honestly, I wish we still had him because we needed a big man.
Yeah.
But I would have much rather have him over Alex Len without a doubt, because he's taller, younger. Even though he didn't play a lot of games last year, but he can definitely play a lot more games with us. But just sucks that it couldn't go through, unfortunately. But yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is that like I kept reading that, and what I thought was funny is his agent comes out and says this wasn't the case or whatever, and then these people start looking at the way his agent comes out about this, and they're like, oh, see, it's ironclad. The Lakers did this, the Lakers did that. If there could not be, in my opinion, there could not be a more biased participant in that discussion than the agent of the player that is getting vetoed. I think Mark Williams wanted to be in LA. Yeah. I think the Lakers wanted Mark Williams. I think they looked at how much they were offering. They did not balk at that. They looked at the fact that this guy we are bringing in, we are going to pay him, and he is going to be our center for the future, and he is going to grow with Luka. And that tandem is going to be crazy. Pick and roll, all of that. What I think scared them was the fact that they looked into, his background. They're fine with it, whatever. And then they came across what I believe to be damaged goods. I believe that the Hornets were not upfront about his injuries, or they missed something, and the Lakers caught it. And they're like, all right, well, we don't want to be the bad guys, but we also don't want to be the suckers here, where now instead, the plan, which was reported that Mark Williams would be the center for the next 10 years for the Lakers, and they felt like they had their guy. And I don't have to tell you, if you're a Lakers fan, you know how big and how sacred big men are to this organization. That's why it's funny. Jackson Hayes is the center for this team.
Yeah.
But there was an actual push, like this guy is a franchise player, and then they back off it because they find something. And I just feel like the Lakers, I think a lot of it, Ethan, was very simply put, sour grapes, because the Lakers just got Doncic. And I just think people were like, all right, this is BS. You can't let them have Doncic, where a lot of people feel like they got away with murder getting him, right, in the first place. And then they get their way out of this trade, which the media is portraying as this guy wasn't injured and all of that. And it wouldn't be such a big deal. But then the Hornets go out and try to have some investigation. And I just thought I thought they dealt in bad faith, and then they kind of told on themselves by doing this. I don't know, man. It really kind of annoyed me. I was not cool with the way that happened, and that's what I would say. I mean,
yeah. I mean, look, in my eyes, I thought they tried to scam us, but I do trust in our front office that they saw something that was a little off in the trade. So I am glad that we kind of rescinded it, even though at the same time I do wanted Mark Williams on our team. But then again, you never know if the things were true about him, about being consistently injured or whatnot. But we just got to move on and just play like the way we're playing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think it's a bummer because I think, Mark Williams wanted to be with the Lakers, but I know he kind of took it a little personal and I get it. You're talking about this guy's health. It's not a great reflection if it's like, I lied to get over there. But, since Mark Williams, and I want to look into this because I actually haven't looked into this, but since Mark Williams was, traded or whatever, he really just had his first game where he was back to where he was. Because
I think against Dallas last night or whenever it was, I think he had like 26 points and like I actually watched that game. But man, when he posted that tweet with the purple and gold hearts, I'm like, man, you really want to be a Laker, and then started like talking that smack after the beat us that one time. Like, man, that's it's annoying, but
they can have that, and the Lakers will have the playoffs, Luka, and a
all the above
injury concern. Because another thing is, we can sit here and say, well, it's BS because he did this, and this in the games, and it's like, how many times have we seen Embiid go for like 38 points and the next day he's not playing? It's not BS.
Too many times.
This is the way it works. I mean, look, so
that could have been easy, like Mark Williams. I mean, he scored 30 points. Next game he's out, and then a week later, like a day later, like he has like a knee injury or something like that. So that's the worst we could have gotten from him. But
look how good this guy is. Do you think the Lakers I don't want this guy?
I mean, look, they wanted him, but it's not something in the thing that they got him and like, oh, there's something wrong with him. We got to send him back because they pretty much tried to scam us, like I said on Twitter a few times. But yeah,
that's how I did it. Yeah. I immediately was like, they're dealing in bad faith. That was the first thought I had. I stuck by that. I have no inside info on that, but I just felt like this whole time they were dealing in bad faith. They got caught, so then they tried to play the blame game. And, basically what ends up happening now is that you just don't want to do business with a team like that. So
absolutely not.
I wouldn't now next time. I mean, I don't think the Lakers will even pick up the phone for that team. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I mean, unless it's for like LaMelo Ball, but they're probably asking for like for three titles, 4 first-round picks, LeBron, Luka, and then you can you can have LaMelo. But that's how it goes every time we try to trade for someone.
Oh man. Well, yeah. Tonight is it 10 p.m. Eastern time. Obviously
ESPN,
7 your time. It's going to be on ESPN. Lakers are hosting the Clippers. Last time the Lakers played the Clippers, they boat raced them. We'll see if they continue to do that. But every game is important from here on out. The Lakers are trying to get the best seed possible. You can say it doesn't matter. I say it 100% matters. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I'm Jake Ellenbogen. You can follow me at JK Bogan. You can follow my guy Ethan over here, my co-host, at Ethan Shirazi 24 on social media. And you can also head on over to YouTube/Downtown Lakers. And of course, subscribe to the Downtown Lakers podcast, which we do have that channel up. It's 170 subscribers currently. We have over 800 people in here. So please be sure, if you can, to check out Downtown Lakers on YouTube. We'd greatly appreciate it. But that's going to do it. Do you have any final thoughts before we head on out of here, Ethan?
Let's get this win tonight, man. Let's get this win. That's all I have to say, bro.
I like it. Well, I thought you did pretty well in your first your debut, for content. So if you thought Ethan did well, slam that like button. If you're on Twitter, just drop a Ethan did well or Ethan is the man or whatever. And yeah, of course. And we'll be back next Friday to talk about the Lakers. What else? So hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of Downtown Lakers. And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, y'all. Next Friday.